This afternoon we've been graced with the presence of Commissioner Rodney Ellis. Good to see you, and appreciate everything that you're already doing for at the county and Precinct 1, and then flanked by Council Member Dwight Boykin, Council Member District D, which is the subject of this press conference, and then Council Member Amanda Edwards at large, and we've got the Chairman of Metro, Karen Patman. Good to see you this afternoon. And then is Jack? Yeah, Jack Christie is here, formerly player with the Rockets. Jack is. And then we got the member of the UH Board of Regents, Paula M. Mendoza. Good to be with you again. And then the Vice President of Finance and Administration, the Chief Financial Officer, representing TSU, Ken Hewitt. Ken, good to see you. And then John Blunt is also here, and I know Commissioner will be introducing John. Look, I'm excited to announce a wonderful coming together of mutual interest, but I want to make sure that I give plenty of credit to Commissioner Rodney Ellis that is making this day happen. So just from the very beginning, Commissioner Ellis, thank you. Tom Lambert is back there in Metro. Good to see you. One thread of what we've been talking about since I've been here at Seth City is a complete community initiative. It's a pilot program involving 5 neighborhoods aimed at showing that the city and the private sector can work together to deliver top-notch services and facilities to underserved neighborhoods or just communities that have been under-resourced for a number of years. The other thread is a Commissioner Rodney Ellis interest in serving the residents of Harris County who live inside the city and residents who don't. And keep in mind that, of course, if you live in the city of Houston, you're also in the county. The Commissioner is here with the details of something he's calling Complete Streets, and that is no coincidence because he will give us the details of street improvements funded by his office in the 3rd Ward area, located in District D, Councilmember Borkins, which is one of the 5 complete communities. I graduated from University of Houston. I got that pin on here, and taught at Texas Southern University's Thurgood Marshall School of Law, and I've got that pin on as well. And now I'm excited to see that the Commissioner is bringing a safer, more attractive streets to this community of twin universities. The city has already taken some steps in terms of streets and sidewalks in the 3rd Ward area. We have completed a $12.3 million reconstruction project on Alameda, including innovative drainage methods and improved sidewalks. And we're adding to our sidewalks program with an additional $340,000, and we'll soon start on $1.4 million in street work and sidewalks. But I will simply tell you that is far from enough. And if the city was simply, if the improvements in these areas would just rely on the city, it would be highly incomplete. And so, but that's where Commissioner Rodney Ellis stepped in. And I want to thank him for his spirit of collaboration, cooperation with the city, utilizing the resources that at his disposal in order to address many of the needs within the city and within his precinct. And I'm just honored, delighted to have someone like him as a partner as we move forward to build a greater city and a greater county, and a city that's inside the county. So without any more hesitation, let me present to you Commissioner Rodney Ellis, Precinct 1.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I did notice Rhonda Skillen-Jones, President of the School Board. Come on up here, Rhonda. Rhonda also happens to work at Precinct 1, so she's wearing that hat today. When the mayor and I first talked about this, when I won, and I said I wanted to do some things with him, his first reaction was, what can I do for you in addition to what you can do for me? So what I want to do at this press conference is start off by showing you the money. John Blunt called me up. He does a great job as a county engineer, and he came to see me a couple of weeks ago, and he said, Commissioner, I know you're new and you're being methodical, and equity is a big part of how you want to spend the county's money. And he said, when you get through planning, do you mind going ahead telling me some streets that you want to do? So my staff got together and came up with some very good recommendations. As you all know, I'm an avid bicycle rider. And so really I started off thinking about with all due respect to my alma mater, Texas Southern, the University of Houston, because we're riding down Cullen. The street is very large, and I was told, this is a place where you could put some stripes up and do some bike lanes. And that was going to cost maybe $1 million. Then when we talked to the city, they said, look, there are drainage problems there. And it's really going to cost about $10 million to do it the right way. So we figured if we were going to do that at the University of Houston, that's your alma mater. And I knew of the mayor long before he knew of me. I heard he was a great debater out at Klein. We the same age, and I was at Worth and he was at Klein, but I never met him. I didn't really meet him until we were both out of law school through Tony, I believe. But if I was going to do something to help your alma mater in our communities, we're also going to help mine. And then Keith Wade from your office came to me with a bright idea about trying to give Texas Southern University a new gateway along Cleburne to make it really the entrance into that university and that community. I remember when I was at TSU in Granville, Sawyer came up with the concept of tying the university into the public housing complex across the street. So we're going to do that. There are about 6 or 7 streets that we know we're going to work on, that we're going to do. The total amount of money is $15 million per university. So when you ask us to show you the money, it's $30 million. Now, $30 million is $30 million, not a penny more. Sometimes when I've talked to people about streets, it starts off being $500,000, and then they say, oh, that were utility lines, and that was some drainage. Well, good. That's why it's so good to have Metro here. And I just hate we didn't think to invite some state legislators, because they can do all kinds of things. But obviously you have to stop somewhere. But your concept of complete communities does make sense. I believe not only should we have complete communities, we ought to have complete streets. In addition to a place for people to ride bikes, a place for people to walk, a place for people, when you and I were younger, we could jog. Boykins can still do that, but you and I should not do that anymore. And also a place for people who are in vehicles to get to where they're going. I know there are discussions about autonomous vehicles, a corridor between these 2 great universities, and I think we can complement that. If people want to use mass transit, they ought to do it. But we're going to do this. It's just a beginning. Working with my staff and John Blunt, we're going to find other communities that make sense. We passed a major item, hopefully you all will approve, for Riverside Hospital. I was born there. I don't know if you were. It was Houston Hospital for Negroes in 1954 when we were born, but I was born there. And there may be an opportunity to look at doing something in that area as the planners look at it. Schools are important. Yates High School is right across the street. I know the TSU streets are Cleburne, Emancipation to Scott, Blodgett from Scott to Ennis, Attucks, not the middle school, but Attucks Street from Cleburne to Wheeler. John, you may have to find my notes in here. I don't see my streets for the University of Houston. I know Cullen. I know a part of Wheeler. And there may be a third one, something on Elgin, on Holman as well. But look, it's a good beginning. We ought to find more things we can do together to leverage the government resources. As much as I'd like to say it's Precinct 1's money, it's really the public's money. And whether somebody lives in the city, the county, your council district, or my precinct, or somebody else's, they don't really know. At the end of the day, it's all about servicing our people. So if I might, Mayor, I just want to let John Blunt, since I never followed the notes, I was going to follow my notes at our friend's funeral yesterday, but everybody had said everything. But John, in case I skipped something, John Blunt's a very important person in county government. John Blunt.
Thank you, Commissioner. One thing I do want to point out, and I did tell the people from the universities, we were actually going to have interns from the respective universities working on these projects. So that's a unique perspective where students at the university get to work to improve their university. We have a very robust intern program, but we're adding to it through this project. Thank you.
I just love me some Harris County. I just love me some Harris County, and Precinct 1 is just the darling, of Harris County. I know he said 30 million and not a penny more, but in inflationary times, But I heard that message. So, Karen, why don't you come over here and say a few?
Well, I was teasing the mayor earlier. I met with him recently about our metro plan, and he deemed it, the money we are able to spend, insufficient for the purpose. So I keep getting bumped from my regular meetings. So the way to his heart is to show him the money, and we're going to do that in part with the help of Commissioner Ellis, because we are about to embark on a wonderful collaboration going beyond what he's doing here to truly complete our communities with Metro and the county working together, and we're really looking forward to that. But we're just delighted to be here today to support this very important initiative. We know from our recent experience, underscoring it, the resiliency and planning are key to our area's future. And this is a very important partnership and a model for additional partnerships for the city and county to invest together in infrastructure. I can't think of a better place to start than the campuses of our two exceptional universities. You know, it's really important to realize that improved mobility is going to be critical as our region expands. By 2045, the populations of Dallas, Arlington, Corpus, Austin, and San Antonio will all be overlaid on our region. And we can't prepare for that future and compete for business from all over the country unless we significantly expand our infrastructure, the quality of life, and, frankly, our transit. And we'll be talking to you more about that as time goes on. So we're committed to the mission. We appreciate Senator Ellis, Commissioner Ellis, and Mayor Turner, and all of those very involved with this initiative. And Metro's just ready to stand with you as a partner, and we thank you so much.
Councilmember Dwight Boykin, District D, where it's going to occur.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me apologize for my attire. It is spring break, and I heard we were going to get this allocation, so I started, Commissioner, picking up cans on Cullen and Cleburne, so that's what I'm doing, clearing the way. Given Houston's revenue cap, it's crucial that we lean on different partners to find innovative ways to access desperately needed dollars to support our infrastructure. As history has shown us, collaboration between the county and the city in these matters often falls short of what we need to get this job done. That's why I'm so appreciative of the efforts of Commissioner Rodney Ellis and my friend Mayor Sylvester Turner, who have brought $30 million into my district. As a proud graduate of Texas Southern University and attended the University of Houston during my summer days, I know these streets well. I was on Cleburne just recently with some of the administrators at Texas Southern, and as I was driving my little sports car, I hit a big hole, and I realized how important it is that we address this. The repairs and improvement will upgrade mobility, increase safety, and enhance the overall quality for not just my district and my constituents, but all of Houston. Mayor Turner has spent a lot of time since he's been the mayor of the city trying to fix not just potholes, but reconstruct streets throughout our city with limited resources. I've said it once and I say it again. These type of partnerships make a big difference. But until we can bring in additional revenue, we look forward to continue to partner with different government entities, whether it's the federal, the state, or the local or county government, to help us with what Mayor Turner is trying to do with these complete communities. So, Mayor Turner, thank you for your partnership with the county. Thank you, Commissioner Ellis, again and again for bringing this to District D. Thank you.
Thanks, Councilmember. And I would be remiss. Regent Mendoza, why don't you come speak, followed by the CFO at TSU, Ken Hewitt.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I know there's a lot of things going around here, and it's much needed in our community. Our 45,000 plus students, I know that brings some infrastructure challenges, and then 50,000 plus if you add our faculty. And so we support the partnership. We wouldn't be the University of Houston without it, Texas Southern as well. I mean, we're very thankful for what you've done for our basketball boys at the time and our women. So thank you for that partnership. But when we look at the changes and the additions that are needed, the infrastructure, it's something that our students need as well. biking, walking, driving, we're all there. So wanted to thank you on behalf of our Chancellor and our Board of Regents, and thank you for this partnership. The internship, where's our engineer back there? I'm always talking about our students and what we need. The internship is critical because it gets our students job ready, preparedness with that practical experience out there. So thank you very much for the partnership. Commissioner Ellis, thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ken Hewitt, CFO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Ellis, on behalf of the Texas Southern University President Austin A. Lane, I want to just extend our deepest appreciation for your thoughtfulness to Third Ward and the community that we serve.
We are making some of those grades I had. Can they change them?
I don't know about changing, but we'll see what.
Start off at $10 billion. He got that on the 5 on the show down the streets.
We'll see if the curve was applied. But really, we want to. Part of our priorities, we have 5 priorities at Texas Southern University, and student achievement, academic quality, culture, partnerships, and finances. And your efforts today, your actions today, exhibit what partnerships are all about and how we all can benefit. And you know, the simple way of me saying that is we're better together. And I thank you again.
Thank you.
Again, I certainly want to thank Commissioner Ellis. I don't want to, can't say that enough. Relationships do matter. And his support of the city and is invaluable. The county, certainly want to thank them. Do want to acknowledge Dominique Calhoun, who is also here from Texas Southern University and a former intern of mine. Jeff Weatherford with the Public Works Department is here. Of course, Harry Hayes, the Chief Operating Officer, is here as well. And James Kosky, who is the Assistant Chief of Staff, is here as well. So having said that, we'll take any questions that you all may have.
You know, and also, Mayor, I forgot, I'd be remiss not to recognize my Chief of Staff, Brandon Dudley, William Taylor, and Amar Mohit that I stole from you. From your planning office, who put this together. And of course, Jacob Stewart, who does press for me as well, and Matala Edie, who keeps me going to where I need to go, and usually on time.
I just thought about that. You did raid my staff over here. Hell, that ought to cost you another $15 million. Anyway. Rebecca.
Mayor, it sounds like there isn't city money that's being committed to these projects. Is that correct?
Only the dollars that have already been spent in the area. That's one of the reasons we cannot say enough in terms of thanks and appreciation to Commissioner Ellis. What we have talked about is that on some other things where county dollars may not be available, but city dollars can be used in Precinct 1. Then we are going to be identifying those projects, especially, for example, CDBG dollars. They don't have that, we do. And so he and I are going to be sitting down and looking at some things in Precinct 1 where of interest to Commissioner Ellis, and then we will work to maybe direct some of those CDBG dollars over into areas of interest to Precinct 1. That's the exchange.
And they are your streets. I mean, Mayor, they are city streets. And I think we have an umbrella agreement that
the City Council has approved and will be at next Commissioner's Court.
Yeah, so once it's approved at Commissioner's Court, it expedites this.
Okay.
Because sometimes it takes a while, but they are your streets. So they'll transfer them to the county, we'll do the work, and as soon as the warranty expires, we'll give them back.
And Commissioner, when do you anticipate breaking ground on both of these projects, and how long?
The planning folks who are good, I shouldn't say anything. It might take Amar probably about 60, 90 days. You all have to do your planning. The U of H, Cullen is pretty much on the shelf, which is why we have a nice display here of what Cullen was going to look like when the city did the plans on it for about $10 million. And obviously, I think, Mayor, the city was looking at doing it, maybe thought they were going to spend a couple of million, ran into drainage issues and others, and it got up to 10. And that's what began to drive the price tag up. We have not done that for Texas Southern. We had items on the agenda this morning at the court to name engineering firms. for both of these. I can't remember. I remember Nagley and Kennedy was for the TSU one,
Right.
and I can't remember who it was for the U of H one. You might want to comment on that. You better than I am, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah,
All I did was learn how to work a slide rule. You asked me
Yeah.
engineering questions. I need an engineer.
U of H was Agirian Fields.
Okay.
And Nathan Kennedy is TSU, and the court did name authorization to negotiate. The next thing on Commissioner's Court will actually be the agreement, and these projects will be in essentially two phases. The first phase is things we can go out and fix immediately because the Commissioner has on-call asphalt and concrete contracts. So as soon as we identify something, missing sidewalks, things like that can be done immediately. And then the long term, which is 90 to 120 days, that's when the bigger planning will be coordinated with the universities and undertaken in plans and then construction.
And Mayor, if I can transition
Yes.
inartfully to the CIP.
Can I
Okay.
leave now?
What you got?
You've been talking at some CIP meetings about project delays in light of
Yes.
COVID. Do you think that constituents will understand that a lot of these projects have been delayed in light of the hurricane? Or are you concerned about, do you have any concerns about the delays?
Good. Based on the 4 CIP meetings that we have already had, it does appear that people do understand. The Harvey projects are taking priority, and so they would come to the front of the line on the Harvey CIP type projects. We're not, normally we would add a 5th year. We're just not going to be adding a 5th year. Those will be the Harvey-related projects. And then we're not saying that any of the projects that have already been approved for, let's say, year 1 through 4, will not take place. They simply, in some cases or in many cases, will be delayed. Some projects will move forward. For example, like in District F, that A-Leave Multi-Service Center will continue to move forward on time. Okay, so that's not going away. There are some other street drainage programs will move forward on time. But on Harvey-related projects that take priority, they'll come to the front. Some other projects will have to be delayed. I think people understand that. They're limited resources. And we told people last year, I think Councilmember Borkins, Councilmember Christie, Councilmember Ellis, you can recall, we told people last year that subject to the revenue cap, if that stayed in place, then that was going to impact what projects we could or could not get done. And it stays in place, it is in place, and those are the realities, so you work with the dollars that you have in terms of CIP programs, and that's why, literally, I could not be more elated with the support that we're getting from the county. That just points out the significance because of our limitations, but for Commissioner Ellis and what's happening with the county, these type of projects simply would not be occurring on time.
And the city has released new data on the proposed Chapter 19 elevation changes, showing the homes that likely would not be flooded had they been required to be elevated above 2 feet above the 500-year floodplain.
I think that's about 88% of those homes would not have flooded.
Is this the data that you use to make the decision about the 2 foot above the 500 elevation requirement?
Yes, we are that's the type of data that we are factoring into the equation. And the data essentially says that if the Chapter 19 proposal that we put in place had been implemented, about 88% of those structures would not have flooded. That is highly significant.
And just
Any more
wondering-
questions? Do you have any more questions about the city-county partnership? Any more?
Okay.
Do you have more questions, Rebecca?
Yeah, I was just wondering why the city chose to release the data now as opposed to releasing it in tandem with the rollout in January, the proposal.
Well, a lot of this data, we are doing the analysis, continuing to do even more analysis as we go along. And so as we get additional information, we're going to make it available. At the time we released the data that we suspected as such. It's been confirmed by the data. Okay? And as we continue to crunch the numbers, we'll continue to make those data available. I will tell you that based on, again, the CIP meetings and I've gone to every last one of them, And we've talked about Chapter 19 in every last one of them. And I've asked the people, how do you feel about elevating homes, others in the future, using the 500-year, building 2 feet higher? Please show by raising your hand. And I would tell you 90+% of the people have raised their hands. And I have not received one question in a negative sense or being critical as to why we are doing that. I just spoke to some retired physicians at lunchtime today. Again, talked about Chapter 19. Nobody wanted to talk about Chapter 19. They were talking about other things. So the support in the city, people recognize we have to do things differently. Okay, people recognize that. They will punish us if we don't do things differently. And so, but, we will provide people with the information that they need. But again, I'm going to go back to this deal, and that is infrastructure is critically important. But for Commissioner Ellis, this press conference would not be taking place. Now, we at City Hall, and I've told them easily go to the county. It's the county's money that's making this press conference happen. I would have gone to the county, or we could have gone and stood between TSU and
That was a sensitive spot.
and U of H. We could have sat on the bleachers at French's. That would have been fine. Whatever works. But I do want to emphasize, and the fact that gracious enough, him and John, to be over here at the city, bringing their money to the city, just demonstrates the sort of collaboration and, quite frankly, demonstrates the sort of person that he is. And I want him to know I appreciate him. I value our friendship. We've worked together for many, 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 many years. And so I cannot say thank you enough for the collaboration, for the partnership, and for the investment that he's making in the city as well as in the county. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Spring break, U of H and TSU, right? The game Wednesday, the game Thursday, right?
That's right.